Hello all. Let's go ahead and take a look at this platform called Chatbot. Uh, they're a chatbot platform as the name implies, and in this video I'm going to compare it or run a use case where you want to control the flow of your conversation. In fact, I'm going to compare it to a feature from Dialogflow which is known as follow-up intents. If you're not aware of Dialogflow, that is okay. If you're aware, then you would be able to compare how easy it is in chatbot platform to create follow-up intents and build a decision tree. Anyways, what's important here is the figure that you see on the left hand side, which talks of one of the flows that I had built as an example in my previous video. Uh, think of this bot as one wherein a user comes and asks if they can go on a particular ride. The bot follows up by asking three questions one after the other. If the user says yes to all of them, the user is told yes, you can go on the ride. If the user says no to any one of those, the user is told you cannot go on the ride. Uh, so here I have already got it working. Let me first show you a running sample, right? Wherein a user comes in and says, can I go on this ride? The bot starts by asking follow-up questions. Every time the bot comes back and responds, you will see that one of the nodes, or as it is called, interactions in chatbot gets highlighted. Basically, the current interaction gets highlighted. When I say yes now, this next one will get highlighted. So this is very useful when you're doing your development. I'm going to say yes, and it comes back and says that I'm allowed to go on the ride. Oh, well, one more to go. You're allowed to go on the ride. If I were to say no to any one of these, I'll just say ride for now, even that'll work. If I say no to any one of these, it comes back and tells me requirement is not met and you cannot go on the ride. Uh, let's go ahead and actually create a new bot so you know how this is done in the platform. By the way, if you'd like to sign up for a free trial, check the link in the description of this video. Chatbot normally gives you a 14-day free trial as seen here, but the link below is a promotional link with extended trial. Details are mentioned in the description. Let's go ahead and say create a bot. I'm going to call it my new bot. Interaction name. What are interactions? I'm just going to refer to their blog or website to say what interactions are. As you see here, they are the key components of every story. They anticipate user input and determine what the bot's behavior will be. You decide what happens in each interaction and how is your bot going to behave. So let's go ahead, and I actually got names from before. You don't have to name them this way, but I'm just going to name them like this so that it makes easy to understand what each of them is doing. So if the user utters ride, here is the user says section of the interaction. If the user utters ride, or ideally you want to put in many more examples, I'm going to just put two for now. What do you want the bot's response to be? You want the bot to come back and ask a question. I'm going to select quick reply for that. In quick replies, you can provide what options you want to give to the user. This makes it easier for the user to answer. They don't have to type in, they could just click in and provide an answer. In this case, I'm going to say provide the titles yes and no. Uh, Post back just means it'll send the value back to the bot. So I'm just going to say yes, save that, and save this here. After this, let's create one more interaction. And what are we going to call this interaction? Uh, well, the first one's supposed to be age, so I'll go change that in a moment. This is height. The first one is supposed to be age. Everything else remains same. The second one is supposed to be height. So when you click on an interaction, here is the user says section and here is the bot response. So if the user says yes, what do you want to do? You want to now go and ask the next question. This time it is about height. Same yes or no options. Save that. Let's go ahead and create one more interaction. And what am I going to call it? This time when the user says yes to the height question, we are going to ask of the next question, which is the question about their weight. I'm just going to go put it's a question with a random weight. I'm going to actually put the button and say, are you at least, I don't know, 50 pounds? Button template slightly different than a quick response template, and you will see that when we execute it. Yes, and add one more button for no. The next one is going to be if the user utters yes to the question on their weight, what are we going to do? We're going to create one more interaction wherein uh, the decision is going to be provided to the user. In this case, if they say yes, what is the response going to be? I'm going to select text response this time, and the response is going to be, here you go. That's that. Now we also need to create no responses. I'm going to go in here and say, I'm just going to create a fallback for now. Instead of creating another interaction and saying if the user said no, then say you cannot go on the ride, I'm just going to create a fallback. For now, just assuming that if they didn't say yes, that means they said no, just to keep it simple, right? I'm going to save that. Obviously, you would need to create an if else statement and, look to see if the user really said no or something else and handle it accordingly. Here, I'm just going to, for simplicity, I'm going to just put a fallback, which, as I mentioned earlier, if they don't say yes, it's going to come back to the fallback. For all of them, I'm going to keep the same message. This should kind of complete it. I'm not going to put anything here for now. I'm not worried about it yet. So let's go ahead and execute this and see if it runs fine. Actually, it's not the first bot that I want to try. I want to try out my new bot. The user comes and asks if they can go on the ride. Keep an eye how each section gets highlighted when the bot responds. I'm going to say yes, or each interaction gets highlighted. I'm going to say yes to the question on height, and I'm going to say yes to the question. And look at how the button differs from the quick reply template. And when I say yes, it goes ahead and says you may go on the ride. We'll run it once more, and this time I'm just going to say no, maybe at the second question or so. Yes, and no, and it went to the else part. It actually even highlights this path it took, so that's great. And here is the response where it comes back and says, sorry, you cannot go on the ride. So yeah, try out the platform for sure. They do have a 2-week trial, as I mentioned earlier, and would definitely be something worth taking a look at. And if you're familiar with Dialogflow, compare it with Dialogflow and see what you feel in this particular example. And if you have seen my previous video or used follow-up intents in Dialogflow, you see how simple or different it is compared to Dialogflow, at least in this particular use case. That be all. Thank you very much. The link's in the description for a sign up, and let me know how it goes. All the best.